Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, the Tell-All Part 3. Part 3 of the Tell-All is the final episode of Season 4 of The Other Way. So we're just getting right on to the third part of the Tell-All. So we left off last week with Chris and Jamie, with them going back and forth, and somebody's lying. Somebody's lying, clearly. We left off with Jamie saying that she had gotten pictures of Chris's ex-boyfriends and her sexual pictures and stuff and everything. Chris admitted to that, and she said that she did mention that why does her ex still have those and stuff and whatever. So they still went back and forth on that. Then they brought out Chris's mom to discuss the relationship, and Chris's mom was saying that, she's probably, I felt like Jamie was looking for like a sugar mama, because she's not working that much and everything, and Chris is working a lot. So, but, Chris can sometimes also be a little bit overdramatic at times, as we all know. Well, Tim and Veronica came back out, and they were still going back and forth on who's lying about the money and everything. And I feel like Chris is lying. Everybody is saying, oh, Jamie's lying. Jamie's a gold digger. Jamie doesn't want to work. This and that. Maybe that's true, but I feel like that Chris is lying the most, because Jamie at least had the receipts. Chris did not have any receipts. Jamie actually brought literally her receipts to the tell-all about how much money that Jamie sent, how much actual money that Chris actually sent, and yeah. So I'm on the verge of believing more of Jamie than I am Chris, because at least Jamie kind of backed it up a little bit. So that's just my take on that. So they were still arguing and fussing and fighting, and then they just finally ended it. It's sad. They ain't together no more, and they don't want nothing to do with each other. So it's sad. I had a feeling it was going to end like that, but I was pulling for them and everything, but I'm sad it happened like that. So yeah, that's what we finished off with Chris and Jamie. Next, they circled back to Nicole and Mahood. And they brought out Mahood's brother to discuss the relationship. And the brother said that, Sean asked the brother, do you sometimes feel like your brother is harsh on Nicole? And he said no, because Mahood is starting to know a little bit more American style, and Nicole's starting to know a little bit more Egypt style and everything. So the big topic of debate is when Mahood comes to America, is he gonna tell Nicole what to wear and stuff? And he was like, I'll ask. Whether she chooses to do it or not, it's up to her, but I'll ask and everything. So then everybody was just going attacking Mahood. Gabe was going in on Mahood again. He was like, dude, you're not going to change. You are not going to change. You're going to have to really change. And he said, Gabe suggested that Nicole and Mahood get divorced, because he feels like Nicole should find somebody that has a similar belief style. And I actually agree with that. I mean, everybody's complaining about Gabe because he's acting like the Jabri of the tell-all. Now, there's a difference between how Gabe is acting and compared to what Jabri was doing. Jabri was aggressive. Gabe is actually speaking the truth and calling it as he sees it. So I'm not mad at Gabe on this. So he suggested they get divorced and everything. And then they're talking and everything, and Mahood and his brother just started laughing. The conversation had brought up from the last episode before the first part of the tell-all, about when Nicole busted him for talking to that other girl that he was selling the TV to. It went from a professional conversation when Mahood was trying to sell a TV, and then he asked the girl, did you get home safe? What are you doing? How old are you and stuff, which was inappropriate in Nicole's eyes. And they were asked about it, and he just started laughing. Him and the brother just started laughing. And that pissed off Isabel. Isabel didn't say much in the tell-all when it wasn't her scenes, but she was like, it's very disrespectful for them to be laughing. This is not a joke. This is not a joke and stuff. Debbie said that, maybe that's their way of laughing nervously. They're not trying to be malicious to Nicole and stuff. But everybody else was like, they just laugh and they think this is so funny. And I took it the same way. Like, what's so funny about it? You got busted. You're judgmental. You're mean. You're disrespectful, and you're treating your wife like she's like you're one of her, like a drill sergeant. Like, no, no. So we couldn't get no resolution to Nicole Mahu, no resolution. So they eventually let her brother go, and they moved on to another couple. So yeah, that was Nicole Mahu. I don't know what their status is for the future, but maybe he made it to America. I know Nicole was probably scared to let him go. She said, like, Jamie had asked Nicole a question like, why don't you like completely follow their religion and their beliefs? And she said that, what I wear has nothing to do with my religion and what I believe in, and she don't really care what anybody thinks. And you know what? I'm actually Team Nicole on that one. Like, that's actually a good way to put it. Yes, like, it's best to dress modestly, but if it's hot outside, wear a tank top and shorts when it's hot outside. Come on. Like, I mean, there's a difference between like, like dressing modestly and just like having some kind of loose clothing, especially when it's warm out and stuff. Like, now if you're having loose clothing and just want to do all of that and like all the time, then that's different. But like, if it's hot outside, wear a tank top and shorts. Come on. And it's not against any religion. It's not trying to be extra sexy or whatever they want to call it. It's just the fact that it's hot outside and stuff. So, I mean, that's just my take on that. So I do agree with Nicole on what she said. So yeah, that was Nicole and Mahout. Next, they circle back to Gabe and Isabel. So this is what we've been waiting for. Sister girl Monica came out. Now remember, Gabe and Monica got into a fight the night before the wedding, and Monica decided not to come to the wedding. And they have not discussed it since. And Sean was like, how did y'all not discuss it all this time? And y'all talk every day. And Gabe was like, oh, we just send memes to each other and everything. And I'm just like, what? What? Okay, so whatever. So Monica comes out and, they get right onto it. They give each other a hug and stuff. And there was a lot of misdirected communication with them. Neither one, the three of them, Gabe, Isabel, and Monica, they don't communicate well when it comes to certain topics. So Gabe said that Monica is the reason for like a lot of the downfall of the relationships, of his past relationships. Monica took that to heart, and that's why she didn't show up to the wedding. And they were trying to like dive into what he really meant by that. Like, Monica denied. She said the day at the wedding she was getting dressed. She had a dress picked out, but she was crying, and she said she didn't want to come to the wedding looking like that. It was later found out that Isabel's mom had like a dress for Monica, because Sean asked him what was originally going to be Monica's role. And remember, Monica had mentioned that she wanted to be maid of honor, best man, walk him down the aisle, this, and that. She wanted to do everything. And then she comes back and says it would have been anything at this point, but they later decided that her and the mom were going to walk Gabe down and everything. But, now Monica feels bad because, like, she didn't wear a certain dress, but Isabel's mom had got a dress for her, and she felt bad about that. But they were still fighting the night before the wedding, just saying, like, only because Isabel showed up late to the bar, only because she was doing last minute wedding stuff. And she didn't want to wait for Isabel. And then the sister said, well, if you guys are fighting over this and why you're getting married, and that's what kind of turned it into. At the end of the day, all of that is just pretty petty. Gabe has said that, you could have shot me in the head and broke my legs and I still would have came to your wedding and stuff. And I just think that, Monica really, really made it about herself in that situation. And that conversation really, it could have been held for another day. You could have just put your differences aside just for one day, couple hours, just to get through the wedding day. I remember when my sister got married, I was upset that day for a personal reason. Nothing against her and her husband, but I was upset that day. But I didn't let that ruin her wedding. So, throw your differences aside for just a moment. Isabel said that she was really upset that Monica didn't come to the wedding. And then Gabe and Monica, they hugged it out at the end of the day. They're cool. That's great. They're siblings. That's great. Hopefully Gabe and Isabel have another wedding in America. So we'll see. So yeah, Monica, yeah, she didn't. I love how these people don't show up at the weddings and stuff, and don't show up to certain things, but they'll show up in person at the tell-all. Yeah, like you show up at the tell-all. You don't show up to the other important stuff, but you'll show up at the tell-all, like in person in New York where they filming at. I don't know. Some of that is some of that. I don't like to pull the this is just for TV card all the time, but maybe that was a TV thing. And like with all of these couples, I know editing makes it look more than what it really is in certain situations, but when we do these reviews and recap the show, we call it as we see it. And I know in certain cases, maybe like with the couples that are, at least with the couples that are still together, like maybe like Nicole and Mahood, maybe like behind the scenes it's not as bad as we see it, but they did say with Nicole Mahood that he acts different around the brother than he does when it's just her and him. He puts on an act. Chris had even called Mahood fake, which I agree with. So yeah, I mean that's just my take on that. So, but anyway, that was Gabe and Isabel, and then they took a little break, and Jen had made a call to Rishi. So Jen, like, she was starting to get in her feelings a little bit. She made a call to Rishi during one of their breaks, and this is the first time like we've seen them like really, really emotional. Jen is really, really upset that Rishi's mom keeps calling her old and stuff, and she called Rishi crying, saying, "If your mom ever calls me old again, we will never talk again, ever, ever." And then Rishi was like, I'll apologize on behalf of my mom and everything. And Jen was like, "You need to tell your mom not to talk to me like that. This, and that. Like, quit commenting about her age." Because in the last week at the tell-all, the mom said that, if you guys were just 6 months to a year apart, it'll be okay. You have no other flaws, but there's just that age gap, or else we would accept you and stuff. And Jenna's just like, well, what the heck? Like, F off and stuff, But, I still think, me personally, yes, I know, I understand that's in the Indian culture, like, they're really picky on the age gap thing. We've seen that with Jenny and with Sumit's family. I always have to compare that because it always that's what it reminds me of. But I still don't think that Rishi's parents are going to be as tough as Sumit's parents. They're doing that right now, but I think if Jen and Rishi were to stay together, time will come quicker for acceptance, and it wouldn't be as bad. As it was with Smith's parents. So, I mean, we'll see on that one. But she calls Rishi crying. Then they come back to set. Rishi's crying and everything. Like, feels like he done messed up and everything. Like, not doing enough for Jen and then everything. This is like the most that we've seen them. And, he hopes that they can make it work. But Jen is just at the point where she's just like, I'm over it. I don't want to be over it, but I'm just over it. There's just way too much and stuff. And then her and Gabe had a conversation during the break Now, y'all remember in the first part of the tell-all, after Debbie's son Julian came out, and they went on a break after Julian had cussed out Osama. Debbie had asked Julian, do you think Jen is cute? And he was like, he didn't say much about it. He's like, what? Well, Jen told Gabe that she gave Julian, with nobody knowing, gave Julian her number. Interesting. She's like, well, we're somewhat close in age, and his family likes me already, so why not? Hmm. That could be an interesting single life moment, maybe. So I don't know if they followed that through, and everything. She's like, well, Jen was like, I love how he stuck up for his mom and this and that and everything. So hey, you never know. Okay, like okay. I'm like, that's cute. That's cute. So yeah, that was Jen and Rishi's little emotional moment. Jen trying to make her roundabouts. So yeah, that was Jen and Rishi. And the last couple we talk is Danielle and Johan. So oh my goodness. So Johan is still bitter about that ex coming. You know, everything else, Danielle was a bit much this season. Like, the way that she spoke to Johan, the way that she, like, downgraded him a lot and everything. But when the ex-boyfriend came to the DR, right on his birthday weekend, that just ruined everything for them. Danielle planned a surprise party. Johan was happy, but he still wasn't happy with Danielle. And Danielle was upset because she felt like he wasn't grateful. So in that situation, I saw both sides. I obviously said, and I remember if you go back to my recap on that episode, I said, yeah, Johan, you gotta accept that, man. But at the same time, yes, I do see your point. So they did bring out Danielle's ex Tion, and to discuss this, and they had mentioned that Danielle saw a picture of him and Tion in his house, in the house. But Danielle said, no, I had pictures of everything of me since I was like a kid. There's just only one picture of me and him. And the ex-boyfriend came out. He said he doesn't want her. They had their time. Like, there's no feelings. I just wish that he would trust her more. So Danielle and Johan, they have issues with trust and communication, trust and everything. They trust each other, but they don't. There's just a lot of anger and animosity. Well, and they don't seem to really respect each other. And Debbie had made a good point to this. When you're in a new relationship and you're married, you do not bring a recent ex around your new husband. And then Johan just starts clapping like this. Yes, that's right, Debbie. And she's absolutely right. You don't bring an ex around your new partner. We've seen it like last season on The Other Way and on 90 Day Fiancé with Ari and Benny, when Ari brought her ex Leandro in front of Benny and stuff. Like, what kind of weird stuff is that? Like, why are people... I cannot stand exes. Me personally, like, that, like, I feel for those men, because, like, I cannot stand anybody's exes, because you don't trust them. Because when you're close with the ex, it's fine to be close with your ex if that's what they're on. But don't, like, it's still soon. If it's still recent, it's still too soon. Now, if this was years down the road, then, hey, my ex-husband's around. If y'all want to be friends, cool. That's fine. But it's still really recent to rub it in. And it's almost like rubbing it in, because, I'm glad Danielle's ex Tion wasn't one of those, like, oh, I miss you, I want you back, this guy's not good for you. I'm glad he wasn't like that. But just her flaunting around the exes like that, it's just, there is no respect. And they asked, Sean had asked Isabel, Gabe did that, what would you be like? And she was like, no, nope, nope, nope. And yeah, so I agree with what Debbie said. We don't show off a guy that we used to have fun with to our new husband. That's what Debbie said to Danielle. So we didn't get no resolution to Danielle Johan. He's just really bitter about that. He hasn't been the same since that. They're still technically married. Danielle said on Instagram that she loves him, and they're still together. And he said something about like they're still on a lease together. And when that lease is up, then they're done. So I don't know what to say to Danielle and Johan's relationship is, but they both of them have to start respecting each other. They have to start respecting each other. And that's just my take on that. Anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. It's been a great season. Another season is officially completed of The Other Way. That was a really good season. Interesting stories to share. I'll recap the couples. Nicole and Mahood, they're still together. We'll see if Mahood's visa gets approved to come to America. Danielle and Johan, we'll see if they stay together and work it out. Debbie and Osama, they're officially done. Never coming back again. Chris and Jamie, sad to see them in, but they're done. Jen and Rishi, there's still a question mark. Who knows? I think part of me thinks they should be done. Part of me thinks they'll try to work it out. And the best couple, Gabe and Isabel. I hope Gabe did mention at the end that maybe one day they'll live in America. So he said that Isabel's getting a visa to come visit here. So we'll see if that works out. But so yeah, I got all the couples. I got all the couples from this season, and it's been a great season of The Other Way. That leads us into next season of 90 Day Fiancé starting next week, before the 90 days. So we're going to head into B90 next week. I don't know when, but throughout the season and a couple episodes in, I will do my very first live YouTube recap on Before the 90 Days, because that Before the 90 Days is my favorite spinoff. We get to see new couples. We have one returning couple, but other than that, we got all new couples again. We got all new storylines, new craziness that will happen, and I'm excited for it. But anyway, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow when I recap tonight's episode of Love in Paradise. I'm sorry I didn't do Married at First Sight. Just time got away from me. I worked a lot last week. Just to do a quick recap, Kirsten and Shaquille, they got divorced. Kirsten said yes, Shaquille said no. Shaquille seems like he regretted his decision a little bit. Now, things got a little messy. Nicole suggested that McKinney and Gina go on a date, and so they'll probably go on a date, and we'll see how that goes. I'll try to recap it this week, but anyway, guys, thank you once again. Happy Memorial Day. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all again soon.